Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. I hear him chatting the noise, move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the walking. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the sheets. We came for one man, forget my peace. We take the west side, take on the east. I'ma put him in the cage, never let out the. I hear him chatting the noise, move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys, not so tough, but man's keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls, let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
Stugotz, you know me well enough to know that I have great discomfort with the responsibilities of leadership. I don't like punishing people, demoting people, firing people. That is not something I'm interested in. But, unfortunately, Tony has failed in his quest outside of these doors to find a Florida Panther fan, and so he has now been demoted on this assignment because he went out there twice.
Dan, you can't demote me from that.
What do you
can't.
Well, I already,
the issue is this. I won't go past Broward, right? Like Miami-Dade line, I won't go north of that.
Okay, well, you can do the optics of that and say it's not a demotion if you want, but now Jeremy has taken that job from you. He has gotten camera crew, and he's saying he's a sideline reporter. He's got experience getting people to talk about stuff whether they want to or not. Lucy has done some of this. She could do crowd work, but Jeremy has thundered in and said, I bet I could find a Florida Panthers fan somewhere in South Florida. Billy, why are you making faces?
What is behind you?
It's Jeremy getting promoted to take the job
to
of
Indiana Jones.
He's going on a search for the elusive Panther fan.
He's a real go-getter, this Jeremy. He really is. I mean, it's annoying. No one likes that guy.
Can he stay?
This is an interesting spot, though, because Tony, say what you want about him, but he can kind of go with the punches out there. Yeah. Whereas Jeremy is more of like a polished broadcaster. So I actually think, if people don't give him the answers he wants, if he can't find anyone, I could see Jeremy panicking more than Tony does out there.
He can't do worse in terms of the goal of finding a Panther fan than Tony did.
But it was funny when Tony did it.
You guys must not watch Bally Sports because Jeremy does this every home Miami Heat game.
Right now, no one can because they're in contract disputes. I don't think it's on anywhere.
Jeremy, we will check in with him at various points during the show today. Will we be doing so in the first segment to see if in the first segment he can embarrass Tony by finding a Panther fan immediately?
We're efforting to have him join late in this first segment.
Okay, thank you for doing that.
It's a long drive he had to make.
It's also 9 a.m. I don't think the mall is open.
Well, I don't know where he's going.
No, the mall walkers are probably there.
The mall is open. Yeah.
Whichever mall he is at.
So the goal and this is a win if we talk Panthers.
It is a win if Jeremy can find a Panther fan while we're on live, which is the rope we're walking on without a safety net each time. Tony has failed twice. We've pulled the goalie. It's not an empty net. We've got a new goalie, and we'll see if Jeremy has any more success than Tony did. I did like what Tony did, though, where I demoted him, and he said, you can't demote me. Even as he's been replaced.
You just told me, hey, can you go to Broward? And I was like, absolutely not. You can send Jeremy. I don't care.
That's not how that went. I demoted you.
We'll see.
And I wasn't asking for your permission. You weren't here yesterday, and Jeremy said he was doing it, and that's how it happened.
On schedule.
The thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about, tonight, because I am not generally someone who does previews of games. But tonight's I find fascinating, not because it's about tonight, Stugotz. We get caught up so much in the micro of that game, that moment, and we miss all the legacy and history stuff that's happening right in front of us. Kawhi Leonard is golden forever because he won one. We all saw him do it by himself, or it felt like by himself, and didn't matter San Antonio. That one is why he's golden forever. He did it by himself. Dirk Nowitzki, same thing. Golden forever. The last 15 years of basketball, the macro of tonight is what I want to talk about, Stugotz, because it's fascinating to me. Not just how the sport has changed, but how the power has changed and how we cover it has changed, because we're obsessed with the executives. So right now, we're doing a lot of talking about the architecture of the Celtics instead of the athleticism of the Celtics. You can make the Finals MVP a combination of Joe Cronin, Pat Riley, Danny Ainge, and Brad Stevens, because all of those things had to happen. Danny Ainge had to fail trading those draft picks, get criticized for years, for Brad Stevens to sort of notice, I don't want to be a middle manager. I don't want to be Spoelstra. I don't want to be Tito Francona. I want to be Theo Epstein. I want to be Pat Riley. For that to happen, they had to lose Game 7 last year because Jason Tatum sprained his ankle. The ask in this series from an America that wants to be impressed by Tatum is be Mamba, be Michael. Game 7 sprains his ankle. The whole foundation of what they were doing goes under. They change it. How do they get to the finals this year? Load management doesn't work for anyone. Kawhi's hurt. Embiid's hurt. Giannis is hurt. Brunson is hurt. Jimmy Butler is hurt. Nobody can get to the finish line except them. They're healthy. But now they've got an injury that made us all doctors. And it's not just an injury, Stugotz. Mm-hmm. It's an injury to a 7'4" dude who shoots from 30 feet.
Yep.
Like, what is that?
A freak.
What is that? That didn't exist 15 years ago.
It did not. No, he's an exceptional player. He's a great talent. He's supposed to be a generational player. The problem is he's always hurt.
He has not been a generational player.
He was supposed to be.
But he is what Lamar Odom was back when we won championships a more normal way, the fourth best player on a team. And if Lamar Odom's your fourth best player, you win a championship. And if Porzingis is your fourth best player, you win a championship. But what if tonight you need it from the three? Because Porzingis being injured makes them a team that 3 out of 4 times against a busted-up Pacers team had a 90% probability of losing games late because they're not that good without Porzingis. They're smaller without Porzingis. It's a big night for you. Al Horford, you say he can win championships. Yep. This is a big sequence for you with Al Horford.
It's a big spot for Al. I'm not worried about Al. He's a veteran. He knows how to handle these situations. It's why Al Horford is on the team in the event that Kristaps Porzingis goes down, because he always goes down. But I think what you're saying as it relates to Tatum is a great point. We didn't see what we wanted to see because the team was overwhelming games 1 and game 2. But now game 3 on the road, going to Dallas. This is when superstars shine. This is when a guy like Jason Tatum should go out, end the series, give you 40-something points, and end the Maverick season. And I'm interested to see if he can do that tonight. I'm not certain he has to do it tonight, but the most likely spot in which he would have to do it is tonight, game 3 on the road.
Just for the people just waking up, just learning about this Porzingis injury, Stugotz, can you let them know what it is?
Sure. You want me to do the injury? Or?
Yeah, just tell us the injury.
Okay.
Before he does this, does anyone else want to take a crack at it? Because he's reading from something. Do the rest of you, it's a rare condition that is known medically as his entire body is falling apart in pieces.
Yeah.
That's and something got hurt before, and this isn't the thing that got hurt before, so now he's got some super rare thing that like 32 people in the history of medicine have.
It's a torn medial retinaculum, allowing dislocation of the posterior tibialis tendon, the
Nailed
PTT.
it.
And which body part is that?
I believe it's the arm.
It's the leg. What else do you have there?
That's all I have. I mean, TMM, PTT.
Thing is, the way he fell, too, just looked like he fell. Like, it wasn't like, oh, his knee went this way, his ankle went that way. It's like something happened. Like, he just kind of fell and then, like, fell over. And I was like, oh, okay, and of course, it's the rectalum posterior.
Posterior tibialis tendon, yeah. That's
Of
what
the
it is.
plantar fasciitis.
Remember last week Mike asked, hey, is Porzingis hurt? And I said, good question. You could ask that on any given night or any given morning, and you have a 50% chance of being right. I mean, the guy's always hurt.
Again, 7'4" shoots from 30 feet. Human body being tested to its limits by the entire sport, given that no one can stay healthy. And the guy they have to beat tonight, hey, they just reported this the other day as if it were nothing. Game 2, Luka had to take a pain-killing shot that was meant to mute the screaming of his body that's trying to alert him something's terribly wrong.
Right, get in shape. I mean, do me a favor. I'm tired of hearing about Luka and how injured he is. Elbow, shoulder, knees, toes. I mean, the whole deal. Enough. I don't care. I don't want to hear about it. He had a triple-double. He's played 40 minutes every single night. Kyrie, give him more. Someone help him out. I don't want to hear about Luka, Dan. I don't.
He's playing 40 minutes every night offensively. He is not playing 40 minutes every night defensively. Everyone is blowing right past him.
Well, Tatum certainly is.
Everyone.
I know.
Everyone. In the history of the league, they had some stat the other day. I don't know if this is official or not. No one in a game has ever been blown by more than Luka. I don't know if
16 times.
I don't know if Elias. I don't know if that's an official Elias NBA stat, but I saw the game. I saw it enough to know. Wow, he's not doing anything out there defensively.
Dan, did you see the compilation of him, like obviously flat-footed on defense, letting people lay him the whole deal? My favorite part of the compilation was he was in the wrong spot, and then Derrick Jones Jr. pushes him from behind to try to get back on the on-ball defense. It was incredible.
Tatum had 29 drives in Game 2, the most in his career.
And he only made 6 shots.
So?
So?
He got to the rim, they won.
Okay.
I mean, 2-0.
All right. For now.
He was dishing out times. What are you doing? What are you doing to the Celtics? Like, what are you doing with Porzingis? You're saying the Celtics – it feels like you're saying the Celtics don't have a shot without Porzingis. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Why are you making it that extreme? Not saying that at all. Not saying that at all.
You're making a big deal about Kristaps Porzingis. I mean, who cares?
Okay.
He's out. He'll miss a game or two, and the Celtics will still win this series.
Wait a minute. You're the guy, every trading deadline, someone trades for George Hill, and you tell me that's the missing piece. I've been watching that team all season. When he plays, they win all their games by double digits. When he doesn't, they struggle against the Pacers.
Yeah, but still win most of their games. I mean, that's all I'm saying.
Okay, but they're playing a team that's better than the Pacers. And again, I don't want to get caught up in the minutia of that you want to do, which is who will win tonight. I want to examine, this is a historic franchise. They've won once this century. I want to examine all the things that had to happen for them to arrive right now, uniquely, in a place where all of us are doctors saying that Porzingis can walk in a corridor and therefore he can play an NBA game tonight as a 7'4" person, making shots from 30 feet with an injury none of us understand. And an injury doctors don't understand because, like, very few people have ever had it. Not recently. Ever. Like, we don't even know how to break it down, and we're going to analyze the game. But how flimsy is all of it is what I'm asking you. How flimsy is the architecture and everything else around the building of teams when this only happens? The only reason that the Celtics get to this place is because they decided Robert Williams, his body can't hold up. Get out of here. Brogdon, you were our last piece. Your body can't hold up. Get out of here. Let's trade for a guy that Meadowlark's basketball expert says is a corpse and see if he can hold up. And he does. Let's trade for a guy that Mero has told us every time he's on. Porzingis is made of porcelain. You cannot trust that. When he was drafted, none of us trusted that because we said that body cannot hold up. And the whole thing, Stugotz, is held together. When I ask you, when I say to you, I'd like to see Tatum tested, this feels like a test.
It does, yeah.
Doing it without how Porzingis spreads the floor for you and how he blocks shots to make you the number one defense on the other end. When Tatum, you're not that good at defense. You're not playing a lot more defense than Luka is out there. Jaylen Brown plays defense. I'm not doing anything to the Celtics other than asking you when they've arrived at champion. Are you paying attention to all the things that had to happen over the last 15 years for Brad Stevens to get to be the genius and how flimsy it all is when it's all held up by Jason Tatum's ankle in Game 7 last year and it all needs to get blown up to get to Porzingis so he can get hurt because that team, what it's had better than anyone in the sport in these playoffs is health.
Well, health to 4 guys or 5 guys if you include Big Al.
They haven't lost one of their top 2 guys the way every other team they're playing against has lost one of their top 2 guys.
Well, I mean, Dallas has Luka and Kyrie. They're intact. I mean, Luka might be banged up. I don't want to hear about it, but they are intact.
But you have to beat them tonight now.
Dallas has to beat them tonight. It's a
No,
must-win game.
if I'm saying to you, if you're Boston and you're playing for the first time against a team that is whole when you're not,
right,
that becomes an actual test of your championship medal.
Yeah, but I don't understand what you're doing here because in actuality, they don't have to win tonight. The team that has to win tonight is Dallas. Jason Tatum, if you say he has to play great tonight, fine. It still might mean a loss for the Celtics. But, yes, this is a test for Tatum, and I'm interested to see if he can pass that test. Will he have a big night on the road, Game 3, and end the series? It's going to be interesting to see, but they don't have to win tonight.
Agreed, Stugotz. I don't want to get stuck in what happens tonight. I'm showing you the reason that the game means something and the rest of the series means something historically for how it is that we remember these people, because when you win once and you're the reason for winning once, Jason Tatum's entire story could change tonight if he puts up 50, Stugotz. The entire story around Tatum. Now, no one will remember the first 2 games and all the bullshit we were talking about. Is he better than Jaylen Brown? I'm talking about the next 10 years of how you can view Tatum are on display over the next 5 games, but we need to see him tested.
You're talking about stamping his legacy, having a big game in the NBA Finals. I'm just telling you, you might be applying that to yourself. I'm telling you, if the Celtics win this and they sweep and Tatum doesn't have the game that we all want to see from him, I'll still remember him as a great player. I'll still look back and say, wow, Jason Tatum and that team had a great season. I will, personally. If others don't, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it seems like you're not going to do that.
It's not about me, Stugotz. It's about whether or not a series can be made interesting to the consumer in a way that makes you remember these games beyond a team just won a championship. Like, you rarely get to understand the history you're living while you're in it, while you're in the middle of it. And we've been building for 15 years to this night of changed basketball, positionless basketball, and a team winning in a way that feels foreign to us.
Right.
Because if they win, they will not be winning the way Jokic did. The way Jokic won was we just watched the evolution of, oh, that's an all-time great. That happened last year. It wouldn't have been the way we would have appraised him before what we just watched him do.
No, if they win, this will be kind of an old-school win for this team. This is a team that's gotten close. They have failed. They've gotten close. They have failed. They've retooled. They've tried again. Stevens went from coach to GM. Like, yes, the storyline of this team is interesting, and it will be remembered differently, much like the Bulls teams in the 80s and some of those teams where they had to climb, and eventually, after 8-9 years, they finally got to the mountaintop.
The question I have for you guys is, where does Mazzulla kind of fit into this puzzle, right? Obviously, Brad Stevens couldn't do it as a coach, moved up to the front office. Now Mazzulla has this weird position where is all the credit to Brad Stevens. He's got a great team, but he's actually bringing them together, and they've had a very good season, and hopefully, for them, going to win a title. Like, where does he get put in all this?
Forgotten.
What I'm hearing from you guys is that this Porzingis injury is good for Tatum. Not in the macro.
It's
in
an
the
opportunity
micro,
for Tatum, is
because
what Dan is saying.
we're not going to give him full credit. Like, if Porzingis is there and he doesn't have to be great, we're not going to give him the credit that he maybe deserves. But if Porzingis is out, now we're going to give him the credit if he dominates.
What is good for Tatum is everyone's healthy. He doesn't have to do much, and there's never any heavy lifting, so we don't actually get to see whether all the numbers that Haberstroh has from the season of him being not very good in important situations because he's always taking 20-foot fadeaways that he's missing in important situations. He has an opportunity here to be something that sports fans recognize in basketball as opposed to the unsatisfying nature of just winning the championship in 4 games and us being able to say forever, you beat a hurt 4 seed and a hurt 5 seed and a hurt 6 seed and a hurt 8 seed in order to win the championship.
I understand what you're saying. We all want them to be pushed. We want this team to be pushed, and Dallas has an opportunity to push this team if they can win and get it to 2-1 in the series. I don't know what we're doing with Tatum here. Like, we have set the expectations so high that this guy who drove 29 times to the basket last game, the most in his career, he's doing the things we've criticized him for not doing. He's getting to the rim. He's creating opportunities for other players. This is a guy averaging 17 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists in the series, and we're saying he's not doing enough, or he hasn't had a moment that we all want to remember 10 years from now.
We are putting the expectations where you put him for Durant because you compared him to Durant.
I did. Well, listen, he's about to get a ring. That's one more than KD.
But that's what we're doing. We're putting the expectations on him, be the best player on the best team. The expectations that every best player on every best team that wins a championship or competes for one gets. And when they go 6 for 22, Kobe did that in a game 7, went 6 for 22, had 15 rebounds, went 6 for 24, had 15 rebounds, and Artest bailed him out at the end. No one cares or remembers. It's just titles for Kobe because he won so many before that. Tatum has won none.
Yes, but when I think back to this team, I understand that, Dan. I get what you're saying. When I think back to this team, whether he has that night or not, whether he has that performance or not, I'll still think back 10 years from now, great team led by Jason Tatum. I will.
Team that got lucky. It feels like what the narrative is going to be.
No one's going to remember it that way. They're going to remember what Stugotz did. If he ends up being a great player, you're going to be like, yeah, he had a great series. They won a championship. You guys don't remember the path that any championship team from 10 years ago took to win that championship. You simply don't. The other day, McLovin was on, and he was saying, I don't remember who it is that the Celtics beat in 2008 to get to the championship. You just forget those things. You just remember that they won the championship.
In this particular case, over the 15 years, Billy, we do remember because San Antonio got all manner of pissed off at the way that they lost the year before on the Ray Allen shot, and we all remember how they played some of the most beautiful basketball any of us have ever seen to end LeBron in Miami. That's what happened 10 years ago. That's how San Antonio got there.
And the air conditioning game, Dan, when they turned off the air condition, LeBron was cramping and they had to carry him to the locker room.
Yeah, but you as a fan remember those things to discredit the teams that you don't like winning.
Exactly right.
Like, those are the only – like, Mike Ryan will remember who the Celtics beat to win the championship, but no one else will because no one will care. After they win the championship, 5 years from now, if the Celtics win in 2 games from now or 3 games, whatever it may be, 5-7 years from now. Well, no, if they lose,
I'll tell you, Halliburton was hurt, and it was a tough sweep.
You're not going to remember that 7 years from now. You're just going to remember that the Celtics won the championship.
Are the allergies acting up again?
This conversation's spicy. It made me sneeze.
Jeremy is joining us from somewhere near the parking lot, the spacious parking lot. It is the arena where the Stanley Cup trophy might be in a few days. Jeremy, what can you tell us about what you're doing and how you're doing it today?
Hey, Dan, the energy is incredible here, as you can see at Sawgrass Mills Mall across the street from the Amarant Bank Arena. The people have been piling in by the dozens to celebrate the Ice Cats. We're going today to find some Panthers fans. Tony did an amazing job this week trying to find some Panthers fans in Miami. It's our job now here in Broward County. I mean, the cars are just moving through. They might as well be a parade today as people celebrate the Panthers being up 2-0.
All right, it doesn't seem like that mall is open. The Texas de Brazil makes my mouth water from here,
so
just
good.
seeing it behind you. There don't
Me
seem
too.
To,
Just keep it on green.
There don't. I've got the meat sweats just sitting here watching you. There don't appear to be any
Dan, I have
human.
the humidity sweats. Can you see on this camera just how much fog there is from how humid it is out here? I've been sweating all morning. It's really it's gonna be gross.
Can we see
It's
the
gonna be
arena from
disgusting.
there? Like, are you like, where's the arena?
Yeah,
from
here actually, if we turn you around, I'm coming down here. You could see just over yonder.
there she
Just
is.
over
There it
the
is.
roof
There she is.
Of the Amarant Bank Arena. The barn is right over there. And let me tell you, I've seen people all day taking shots this morning already. So excited about what's going to happen. Not there, but in Canada in the next 48 hours.
I feel the energy.
Yep, so do I. Jump in the lake.
It's a good idea.
Is that a lake or is that just flooding?
You know, honestly, I'm not sure. I see, if you can see right there, I mean, just a beautiful flamingo
great
right
question.
there.
Go
the
ask the
beautiful
flamingo.
Broward County flamingos that we always see.
Not a flamingo, Jeremy. That
Alongside-
is inaccurate reporting.
Flamingo?
That is not in
trying
any
to
You know
way.
what a
things
flamingo
up,
looks
Dan.
like?
The energy is palpable.
Okay, all right. Well,
You
check.
can feel
all right,
it
all right,
everywhere you
all
go.
right, all right. Well,
The energy is amazing. We'll find another spot, right?
All
Maybe
right.
in the Everglades.
All right,
We'll
so
get back
far,
to you guys.
So far, okay. We will check back in with you. Hopefully, it'll be more successful than that. It doesn't seem like there's anybody awake where you are.
Told you guys he's a pro. I mean, come on. He's got the energy.
Tony was really enjoying, though, that was failure. Billy, for the first time ever, is Team Tony in a rare moment of unity. We will see what Lucy's reaction is to this because she was not here yesterday. But someone who listens to the show is writing in and they say, I'm calling total bullshit on Dan's dentist story. That's made up for content. Next thing you know, he's going to tell us a toddler walking down the street asked him, why isn't there peace on earth if we're all human? The dentist story, Lucy, and it's absolutely 100% true, is that I have found a wonderful, great new dentist, and it is a spa-like service. And the last time I was there, as soon as we started, it started with, you're not a Biden guy, are you? And then it went down a dark hole of right-wing podcasts and conspiracy theories that ended with her telling me, among other things, there are a great many details, that Princess Di, Michael Jackson, and someone else wasn't dead. JFK Jr.
Wait, this was a woman?
Yes,
Oh, no.
Yes.
That's not good for us.
Josephine Rogan.
It was a Hispanic woman, and this is not uncommon in South Florida. It's all over the place in a way that is super confusing to me, and disorienting. But the question I was asking everybody is, what do you do in that situation once the utensils are already, like, we had started, and that's where the conversation started. And the only thing I could muster was asking the follow-up. I said, crazy times. Crazy times.
Gotta throw that
That's
in
a
there.
good one.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
just
good
crazy
one.
times.
You're not giving away too much.
I
right? Crazy
don't
one.
trust anybody. I don't believe in anybody. Everybody's
Yeah.
crazy. And I also said, and what about Tupac? And there was no opinion on whether there was no information on that.
You should have bit her finger.
Really?
Yeah, just gone for it. You say, oops, slipped, accident.
And
Not hard, just a little nibble.
So cannibalism, or
No,
not?
you're not like.
You're sending a message.
Yeah.
I think to be a cannibal, you have to actually digest
yeah,
and
it's gotta
process.
swallow.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
a little
and
nibble. Nothing too
secrete it.
much.
Yeah.
Just like a little, like, hey, shut your mouth respectfully.
Yeah. But
Seems
what
like-
if she had a utensil, like a tool in there, and he bites the finger, and then the little spinny thing, then cuts his tongue in half?
Well, just don't bite her finger with a tool in your mouth.
Yeah.
Just wait for the right moment.
I had a dentist situation. It wasn't quite this bad, Dan, but it was pretty bad, where last time I was there and they were like doing the teeth cleaning, all of the water and like the spray from my teeth was coming back directly onto my face, like getting in my eyes. And no, I didn't have glasses on. And I read on, Billy, you'll
Bad
appreciate
dentist.
this.
You need
I
goggles.
read once
Yeah.
that like there's like bacteria in your teeth that if it gets in your bloodstream and you swallow it, then you could die. And it's really gross and bad for you.
I
And
appreciate that.
I thank you. And I thought about you while this was happening, and I was like, I feel like Billy would have been like, hey, stop spraying tooth water in my eyes. But I didn't do that. I didn't know what to do. Maybe I should have bit her finger.
I have one of the wildest dentist stories. So I had like a pretty large cavity that they had to fill. And I was like, I had just moved to California. It was my first time going to this dentist. And they were like, hey, we're going to use a 3D printer to like fill this. And I said, okay, great technology. And so the lady is like getting ready to put it in my mouth and she dropped it down my shirt. So there was just like a tooth in my bra. And I was like, oh man, this is, and she was like looking for it. I was like, lady, it's in my shirt. Like, and I don't think we can like use it anymore. She's like, yeah, we can't do that. So I had to sit there and wait another 45 minutes. And then when she left, I had to like take the tooth out of my bra.
I hate it when that happens to me. The tooth ends up in my bra. Dentists die earlier than the rest of us, do they not? Because of all of the mouth illnesses that there are. When Jessica says you can die from some spritz in your eye, I believe the suicide rate among
I
dentists.
think dental hygienists. Yeah.
I've heard the suicide rate thing. I haven't heard the death.
I don't think it's mouth water though.
This is news to me.
I believe that's so. You could look it up for me. But also what Tony says is so. This is something I learned with this newfangled modern dentistry. Yes, goggles prevent all of that because it was a giant show of water all over the place, but none in my eyes because I was wearing goggles and watching the television that was on the roof, on the ceiling.
You take the good with the, you gotta make it out.
But it's never something you want to watch.
What's funny about that is that I was scanning through the channels while trying not to listen to all the right-wing podcast recommendations I was getting, and I settled on The Mechanic with commercials with Jason Statham.
Oh, okay.
Good flick.
Well, one time
bad.
they asked me if
Yeah.
I wanted. When I was like doing like orthodontics in my teens, they would be like, "What do you want to watch?" And I put something on, and it was usually like they were specialized for children. Like they wanted you to be occupied while they were like cranking the shit in your teeth. But the dentist rarely really does that. I went to a dentist recently, and they asked, what do you want to watch? And I said, Drive to Survive. And then he ended up watching Drive to Survive while he was drilling inside my mouth, which I will never do that again.
I have a Google AI answer for your question about dentists, and this answers all over the place. According to a study of dentists in Tokyo, the overall mortality rate for dentists was similar to the general population, which is 100%. But they had a higher risk of esophagus and colon cancers and a lower risk of heart disease and pneumonia. However, the study also estimated that a 25-year-old dentist's life expectancy was 51.26 years, which is slightly lower than the general population's life expectancy of 76.67 years at birth.
What?
I don't know how you don't get pneumonia if you're a dentist or heart disease.
It doesn't seem worth it.
Google AI says that's
years
the
seems
case.
a lot younger than 70
That's what I
years.
thought too, and then what I think you got to do is add the 51.26 to the 25 that they already are. Because 51.26 is more than slightly lower than 76.67. But Google AI says that according to dentists in Tokyo, this is the case.
Okay, I'm glad that we're up to the
I
minute.
like dentist stories.
I'm
That's all.
glad we're. Thank you.
Hard stop.
It was important. Yeah, it was important that you get that right in there, right when you did. I appreciate you getting us the most up-to-date information from Japan on whether or not dentists die early.
Well, they're
or
a
not.
day ahead of us, so.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Juju, at Le Batard Show. Do you think dentists die earlier than other occupations?
You're making this seem like it's some sort of spot. I'm just wondering, does the dentist have like does your dentist, your new dentist, have old school tools? Like what is going on
Everything
there?
is super modern. I just realized that I was dealing with dentistry that was sort of from the 1970s because I'd had an old-fashioned dentist, and it was perfectly serviceable. But now I have all the modern amenities, which is why I put the question in front of you that I did. What do you do if the person either performing surgery on you or dentistry is vocally opposed to you on almost every principle? Lucy's reaction, Lucy, everyone here backed away and just gave in to just give me a dental experience. I don't care what the politics of anyone involved are. Just give me a dental experience that is better than mine. I'll just I'll open my mouth and I'll keep quiet.
What?
Yes,
I don't know. I'm really lost right now.
everyone here, you reacted violently by nibbling on a dental finger.
That's not violent, just a little nibble. Yeah, nibble. It's very casual.
Some people like that.
Well, but then wait a minute. Then how am I discouraging the behavior if I'm nibbling on the finger of a dentist who likes that?
I would have enabled the behavior, honestly. I would have asked so many follow-ups. Like, really? Tell me more. Like, what else? Who else is alive? Like, what's this now?
You'd be giving the dentist what they want. You're right, Dan.
Thank you, Stugotz.
I would have asked to see her degree.
Wow.
Huh.
Quick Jeremy update. He's been kicked out of the Sawgrass Mall, so he's changing locations.
Really?
By security.
Security kicked him out?
Yeah.
Tony never got kicked out of it.
Because he went from where he was going to walk into the mall to get us, try to find people, because I think it opens at 9. But
Billy,
he got kicked
how
out.
little you remember about the Tony updates. He did get kicked out of Bayside. They told him he had to have a license to film there, and he got kicked out.
And then what do? We made it happen, Jack.
Exactly right.
Well, that's what Jeremy's going to do. He's going to make it happen.
Jeremy should have got into the water. Water's free. You can't kick anyone out of water.
Let me explain to you what's going on with Billy and Tony right now, because usually Billy is opposed to anything Tony does, but because you're now on Tony and demoting him, Billy is now on Team Tony. He wants to criticize Tony all to himself. He wants that lane all to himself, but now you've joined him, and Billy wants no part of it anymore.
I am not criticizing Tony. I simply demoted him for not finding a Panther fan, and now Jeremy is on the hunt to find a Panther fan that we can
Time to hunt.
interview on the show live and bring the audience the joys of celebrating the Stanley Cup final with us. He will find a Panther fan today. Yeah. One of them is Charles Barkley, and I wanted to ask you about something that happened to him the other day, because I think this is generational. Approaching Charles Barkley and screaming at him as a young person for your content, that he has no rings, and getting very close to him and being aggressive in a Luka jersey. I shouldn't say that it's never happened to Barkley, because he told us the story. It happens all the time to Barkley. He told us the story that the only regret he has about throwing someone through a plate glass window, he told the judge this, is that they weren't on the second floor. But it seems like that's happening more than it's ever happened because somebody wants the content of the famous person's vapors, and I'm going to challenge this person publicly. Do I have it wrong? Is there a coarsening that dehumanizes people such that you will go for your moment and take whatever the consequences are, even if it's uncommonly disrespectful to do that to a Hall of Famer to their face? Like there's not bravery in it. It's super disrespectful. But I don't actually know if it's more common now because Barkley has plenty of haters. So I'm asking you guys the question: do you think there's something polluted in the air that would make it more, just make it easier to be disrespectful to somebody publicly that you would never be disrespectful to?
Well, you can become famous from it, and you're safer because you're videoing it. So it's like, what are they going to attack you on your phone?
Right.
Then it's on record. It's
Throw
just,
me through a window, I dare you.
It couldn't have happened. Like, I'm sure there were people talking shit to Barkley in the 90s, but it has to be like 10 times the amount today.
There's monetization with it too. Like you can make money off being an asshole online, and that becomes your whole bit. Then you grow a following. It's kind of like a similar thing to like the crazy, like super extreme right wing influencers. You're rage baiting. Like that's all what that is. It's all like for show, and it's all for followers, and it's all for money.
Barkley's been getting that chant outside of every arena that he's in. I'm just not used to somebody doing it to his face because there's danger in doing it to his face because he's whether he's 60 or not.
But there's money also. That's what we're saying.
Before phones,
there is opportunity.
Phones, you do it from like 50 feet away. Like,
Right.
hey, 0 rings. And now
Yes.
you can, the
Yes.
safety of your phone, I can get right up in your face.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't enjoy that very much. And if I were Charles Barkley, the idea that I perpetually have to restrain myself in the face of disrespect, because the way that this man behaved when faced with disrespect in a bar before is he'll throw you through a plate glass window.
But I think we've seen viral clips of Barkley literally just telling, hey, go bleep yourself. Like Barkley, more than anyone, can get away with just like giving it back to somebody, whereas other celebrities are more conscious and don't want to have those interactions. Barkley's the one, like, I've seen many videos of him literally telling someone to fuck off.
But now you're going for throw me through a window, right? I mean, you want that. You monetize that.
Double monetization.
Thank you.
Speaking of people videotaping things that they shouldn't to go viral, this happened yesterday. Someone uploaded this video, and I want to watch it with you, Dan and Stugotz, because I don't think you've seen it yet.
It's a strange video.
I want you to tell me if you notice anything especially weird about this video.
Car flipped upside down.
I mean, that's weird in itself.
A door open with a car upside down.
Looks like a watermelon of some sort.
It's also
A
weird.
watermelon and sunroof.
Dude, what are you doing?
There's some
This guy just
videotaping.
pulled out a watermelon from his car. He thought it was fantastic.
Is that Scott Hansen?
That is Scott Hansen.
What?
I feel
That
like I'm
is
being
Scott
punked.
Hansen.
This is one of the weirder videos in the history of the internet.
Okay, so if you're listening to this on the podcast, there is a person, first person, videotaping themselves at the scene of a car crash, reaching into a car with the door open, upside down. The car's upside down. He reaches into the car. There's a watermelon.
And you grab it because of course.
This person grabs the watermelon,
watermelon.
half of a watermelon, carries it out of the car, and then he pans over to Scott Hansen,
Who's getting his
who
Jeff
is
Darlington
videotaping
on.
him, videotaping the car upside down, the accident, and he says, "What are you doing?"
In an accusatory way, almost like, are you affecting a crime scene right here? Like he was almost getting his he was almost going to make a citizen's arrest.
Exactly. So this video was circulating online, and then Scott Hansen actually tweeted a reply to it because someone said, "Is that Scott Hansen?" Because really, I mean, it's dark, but the voice is unmistakable. The voice is unmistakable, and he said that apparently there was a car crash. The people in the cars were okay. He checked, but then he saw this person reaching inside the car to get the watermelon and started videotaping him in case it was a crime to take a watermelon out of a crashed car.
All right. It is delightful for a number of different reasons, but you're suggesting that in that situation, Scott Hansen was video vigilante, that he is protecting America's streets from stolen watermelon situations when your car has flipped over.
What I learned in this video is the value of a good watermelon, because this is a very serious thing. What? But until I see the watermelon, like it's a flipped car, it's
Right.
a camera, like there could be someone dead in there. I see the watermelon, I'm instantly happy. I'm like, I smile, I giggle. Like if that video is exactly the same thing, but there's no watermelon, this is a very serious, sad video.
That's a carved
Yes,
out
if there's
watermelon.
a dead body instead of
Yes.
a watermelon, it's the worst video.
You put cut up fruit in that watermelon. It's delightful. It's melon. It's cut up watermelon. You hollow out the watermelon. That's what that is.
Oh, I love a
Yes.
melon baller.
Yes.
It's like just
Oh,
a half
yes.
cut
Yes.
watermelon.
This is what Scott Hansen tweeted, by the way. He said, "Yes, I'm fine. I was a witness. I wasn't in either car. Terrible crash. I checked on the survivors and then saw that jack wagon trying to exploit the situation for his social media. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised, but I was/am. What is he doing? Disheartening."
Same thing.
What's Scott doing?
Well, he's being disappointed in behavior.
He said 2 people could have died, and that clown was excited about his TikTok. I couldn't believe it. You know his name/identity? He jetted when the police were pulling up. I videoed him in case what he was doing was illegal, parentheses, tampering with the scene of a crime, ? So disappointing.
Don't worry about that, Scott. How about that?
Seriously, stay in your lane.
Mind your own business.
Right. Tell me when a team's in the red zone.
What if Scott wanted the
Seriously.
melon and that's why he's really upset?
Oh, Jesus.
Eyeing that melon from a mile away.
How did this guy know there was a watermelon in the car? That's the other thing. He
There's a
just
lot.
reaches in and grabs a watermelon. This is one of those things where, you know how people think that like we're all living in a simulation? This is an example of we are in a simulation and we're running out of characters. The people running the simulation have run out of extras, so they just dropped Scott Hansen into this video.
It's interesting to see the division in the room, though, because I feel like you and me, and I don't know where Lucy and Chris stand on this, but we're looking at Scott Hansen and saying, good for you. But Billy and Tony aligned again on narc.
Falsehoods.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mind your
It's a
business.
little pot kettle situation, you know what I mean? Like he's running up to someone with a camera saying, "What are you doing?" And while he's doing the
But
exact same
he
thing.
didn't upload his video.
Oh,
he
yeah.
took it for the police.
He's making the story about
Everybody
Scott
got
Hansen.
the
cops
Yeah,
now? Give me
no,
a
that
break.
other video came out first, and then he became the guy that's like, you know what? I can't be the second one to put the video out. Now I need to pretend to be Batman over here,
I
watermelon
think
Batman.
if one of my loved ones was in a crash, which this has happened to loved ones of mine before, and someone had a video of said accident and someone messing with their car after said accident, I would probably want to know what was going on. Just saying.
Look, if no one got hurt, everyone was okay, and I saw that watermelon video on my TikTok For You page, I would have liked and shared it. Yeah, for sure. I got to be honest.
Yeah.
That's a good video.
Jeff Darlington is really inspiring.
That melon was full of glass, though.
Exactly.
Like, that's the thing that I don't understand the value of that watermelon.
Wait,
Because
it
broke.
was?
Yeah, he
Can we
took
watch it
Shattered
ag-
sunroof.
There's a shattered sunroof.
We
You
gotta
take
watch
it
the
out, you
video
even
again.
hear the glass crackling.
And that's the thing. I mean, this is a mess.
If I'm the
what are you
first guy,
doing?
if I'm the first guy and I approach the car and I see the watermelon, I'm just doing the zoom in and out thing on it. I'm not actually grabbing it because I'm thinking what Scott Hansen's thinking. I don't want to affect
Tampering
a crime scene.
Oh, melons
So
are
I'm
expensive.
gonna
now.
you gotta zoom in and out on it. I mean, it's like, what the hell is this watermelon doing here? You gotta like emphasize it.
I would like to examine for a second, though, what Stugotz has correctly identified is going on around here before we go back out to Jeremy to see if he has found a Florida Panthers fan. You just said, Billy, when I accused you of Team Tony and uniting with him on being anti-narc, this is what you did. You whispered falsehoods and then agreed with everything he said. That's exactly how you did it. You whispered your
I know my
lame
guy.
move of falsehoods and then agreed with every single word that he said about Scott Hansen as a narc and supported Tony from every angle.
Well, I'm not intentionally supporting Tony. Our view just seems to align on this situation.
I think we need to get Scott Hansen on the show. And I also think that the Miami drivers in this room are desensitized to accidents like this. And you think that this is just like, yeah, there's accidents all the time. I grab a melon from a car that's upside down. This is not normal behavior.
On Only in Date, I've seen 7 cars flipped over today in the morning.
We have to talk more about that in a second, what you've seen on Only in Dade, because there's always a car rolling on I-95 on fire. I don't understand
Car
how
fires
that
seem very prevalent.
Always.
I
like
saw
20
a
this year,
burnt
by the
out
way.
Lamborghini yesterday, or maybe like a week ago. Woke up, rolled out of bed, Lamborghini on fire. All there's left is a tire. What's happening? What are we
Only in
doing?
Dade has a number of videos a day that make it feel like a simulation. There's always a mattress on the highway. There's always a car on fire.
Or the boat getting pulled back on the car. You know how people try to pull the boat up from the
Boat ramp, yep.
They get back.
Let's go back out to Jeremy here in our continuing quest in South Florida is he being rained on now? Where are you? Where is that? Where are you now looking for Panther fans?
Dan, we got lost. It's really easy to end up in the middle of the Everglades, and that's exactly what's happened here. I did speak to an actual Florida Panther. He was very excited about Greg Cody's new nickname of Sergei Badkwotsky.
Can we pan out a little here? Let's paint the picture a little. Let's pan out, Danny.
No, deep. I'm up to my knees in water. You could see it up to my knees in water. We're really stuck.
Okay, he is in the
deep
Everglades.
in the
He is in the Everglades.
He is in the Everglades.
Wow. I've been there.
Wait a minute. Okay,
Is that right near the Sunrise exit?
That is right.
Yeah, it is near the Sunrise exit. That's right.
Yes. This is so when Bill Simmons asked the question, nobody knows where the Panthers play. That's where
It's
the
here.
Panthers play, right there in the Everglades. Again, though, you are no closer
We're
to
looking
any.
for Panthers fans.
Yeah,
Why are you in the Everglades?
Where are the
Well,
Panther
we're gonna
fans?
try. We're gonna try. We're gonna head to another spot in the Everglades because I think being this close to where the arena is most important. So in the rain now, we're actually gonna head over to where the airboat rides are in the Everglades and see if we can't find some Florida Panthers fans.
You
So
won't find a
we'll get
single
there for you
fan
soon.
there. Go further away from the arena, and then you have a better chance of finding a fan. I'm telling you.
No.
Next
That
report
is
from the
further
airboat.
away from the arena.
He's going to go
Okay.
try and find.
got it.
Yes, go out there. Let's show people Airboat
Yeah.
Everglades for those who do not know the marshland that the
beauty.
Panthers. That
the landscape.
Sad white van
Heaven
just driving
on
by.
earth, really.
I want
beautiful.
I want to
Knob
ask.
Hill.
I want to ask all of you a question here, because I don't know the folks like Jessica and Lucy who are new to South Florida. Thank you, Jeremy. We will check back in. Not enough rain on you. I'd like you to be getting rained on more.
Flamingo for you, Dan. I'll find another flamingo.
In our region, okay, the places where giant sports things have been built to entertain the sports that are not the major ones, furthest out on the extremes of South Florida where you can get land to build giant things, furthest from us, Homestead Motor Speedway is in Homestead, where you can get a lot of land to build a thing that has a lot of space and is not in the center of things. You're going toward marshland and deeper into areas where the real estate has less value.
You're almost at the Keys.
I mean, it's far. I don't know which one's further. Billy, help me. Which one's further from where we are right now? Homestead Motor Speedway or where Jeremy is covering the Panthers? I don't know in terms of miles which one is actually further by car in traffic to get to when I say that because when I say that going to a Stanley Cup game from where we presently are in traffic will take between 90 minutes and 2 hours to get to where the Stanley Cup is. And if you know anything about South Florida, Dade and Broward, those are two very different places demographically. That Dade County has all of the diversity. You'll find in Fort Lauderdale some where you find like Dillard High School and stuff, but where the Panthers play, not terribly diverse.
No.
The Panthers, Fort Lauderdale.
But people live there. Like Jeremy lives 10 minutes from there. Chris Cody lives closer there. We just don't.
Well, people live in Davie, Plantation,
and
Weston,
Homestead.
that
People
area,
live there
Parkland,
too. It's just
yeah.
far from us.
Homestead is 40 miles. Homestead Speedway is 40 miles from right here.
It's also hard to put a motor speedway in the middle of downtown. Like it takes up a lot of real estate. You need lots of acreage to put like a mile-long racetrack in the middle of a street.
Yeah.
Formula One begs to differ.
You say that, but wasn't the Grand Prix originally right here? Like,
Yeah,
wasn't
but
it
that's-
in downtown Miami in these same streets
Yeah,
right
but they
here?
closed downtown to do that. It's not an actual speedway the entire time.
That is correct.
It's just for the event.
That is right.
Also, as you know, we're growing and branching out. Like the geography of Florida was all swampland, right? It all used to look like that. Like when the Orange Bowl was built, it was built in swampland, and like we just keep going out further west, and we keep going further south because that's where the available land is. But as time goes on, those will be populated areas because you'll keep building homes around there because that's where the land's available. Unless it becomes protected because of the Florida Panthers who are endangered or not. We're not sure about that, but we think they're endangered. And then the land becomes protected and you can't build houses there.
One of the best books I have read is The Swamp, about the history of Florida and how it is.
Michael Grunwald. I read that one too.
Ben Hill Griffin, Tebow.
The history of Florida suggests that it's always been a real estate con, that we've been tricking people since Rockefeller, getting them down here to build real estate, telling them it'll have value. It was never supposed to work.
Hey everybody, it's a shootout showdown.
We're still doing these?
Yeah, Chris Cody has decided he doesn't want to take part in these anymore. Well, I guess I'm a reigning champ in this game, so we're bringing in new competition in Tony. So Taylor, we don't know what the shootout showdown is covering today. What is our topic? Top 10 Will Smith box office earnings according to Rotten Tomatoes. Okay. I am champion. Does that mean I go first? All right.
It's like PK style, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Independence Day.
Bad Boys. Okay, good start.
Yeah. I don't like Mike Fountains on these games because of his just know-it-all brand. Let's go. Let's go with Men in Black.
Yeah, for real. I'm going more off-brand. Wild Wild West.
Yeah, it was
What?
I think it was like famously like a bomb.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, we're doing best. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, that's what
Gotcha.
box
Gotcha.
office
Gotcha.
means, you know. All right, let's go with. This is worldwide box office. Yes. Oh, just U.S. I'm going to take a stab and say, if it was worldwide, I would have guessed Aladdin, but I've got a lead here I'm going to play with. I'm going to say Aladdin as well. Number one. How about that? That's crazy. Mike, you are not mic'd on this.
Who
Like,
was
when you
he?
say it,
Who
it all
was he in
gets edited
Aladdin?
out.
Hold on. Who was he in Aladdin? Oh, I'm thinking of the cartoon. My bad. I'm thinking the only genie I know is Robin Williams. That's my genie.
I
Sorry.
mean, I co-sign, but it
Thank
is
you. That's why
domestically.
I need this. Okay, Bad Boys 4.
Bad Boys 4 just came out.
I know,
There's
but it's
no-
massive. 100 million over.
He's like, just give him Bad Boys 2. I'll let him have Bad Boys 2. Oh, really?
It's a sham.
Wow. Bad Boys 3 is the highest grossing domestically? Huh.
Inflation?
Inflation. Is Hancock on there? Number 5.
I Am Legend. Oh, how about Hitch?
Yeah, no.
What was number 1?
I would have gotten there. Oh,
Oh,
are we
that's
going to
right.
keep doing these in box office? Because this is my jam.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is my jam.
Also, Will Smith is in my wheelhouse, if you want me to be honest.
If Will
I
Will Smith isn't your wheelhouse, then no movie star is.
Tom Cruise. I would have done better than Tom Cruise.
All right, you know what? Run it back. Run it back right away, and let's do Tom Cruise. We're right back, and this time we're in Tony's wheelhouse.
One of.
The most of his wheelhouse is Tom Cruise movies, so we're running it right back. I'm still defending champion, so I will go first. This is top 10 domestic box
But this is
office
kind of
hits.
your absolute wheelhouse.
This was my point, and then you were like, "Well, it's not my guy." So here we go. Top Gun Maverick, number 1 overall.
Clearly. Ready? Mission Impossible. Dead Reckoning.
Ooh, really? Then I'm gonna go Mission Impossible Fallout.
What, Chris? What, Chris? I'm gonna go original Top Gun.
No way. Was it? Even
I'm fighting.
7. Okay.
Fighting, kid.
Yeah, way
I'm
to
fighting.
hang
I'm
in there.
fighting.
Let's
I'm
go
fouling
with.
him
Let's go with. This is just box office, yeah. Let's go with Mission Impossible 2.
Damn, I was gonna go there.
I will say this is very clearly more in your wheelhouse.
Thank you. Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. Come on,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Hey, relax.
Let's go with Mission Impossible 3. No.
Let's go with Vanilla Sky.
No way. That's more art house. Yeah. 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 Let's,
You know,
Uh,
that kind of thing.
is Minority Report on there?
Ooh, good one.
No. Tony for the win.
Okay, hold on. Let's think. This is gonna be a crazy guess, but if you gave Aladdin for Will Smith,
You
what
gotta
about
go
Tropic Thunder?
Yeah.
No.
No. All
How?
right. Let's go with. It wasn't a very good movie, but it had a big director attached to it. I'm gonna guess War of the Worlds. Yeah. Hey, that was a good battle, though. Oh, okay.
I need this. Okay, we said Mission Impossible Part 1 Dead Reckoning. You said Ghost Protocol. You said 2. Tom Cruise. Let's go MI4? Mission Impossible 4? The Mummy.
The Mummy domestically? Wow, for real? I thought that was a
Mummy.
bomb. That has to be. No, that's just domestic. Yeah, it's just domestic. It was in
Good
the
battle,
billions
Mike.
worldwide.
It was
That was a really good
It was
battle.
a good battle.
I thank you for the challenge.
Come on.
I wish that people could see Stugotz during the break and the stuff that he does, because he just did a cameo. I heard him mutter under his breath, the ones you do within 24 hours, double the money.
Oh, yes. Yeah. They dried up. I mean.
And, well, because you're the worst, Stugotz. You didn't do a ton of them. When you said they dried up, you wanted them, you charged a lot for them,
Yep.
and then you would go many months without answering and let them expire, and it became too much for you. And I don't know what's going on now in your personal life that makes you do these during the breaks, that makes you grab at the money during the breaks in a way that's more aggressive than you were doing it back then.
This is and first off, I will get to all of those, the ones I didn't do. I do plan on sitting down one day and getting to those, and I'll do them for free. So everyone out there, they're 3 years old, but I will get to them.
Chicken thigh.
I deserve that. But this was 24-hour response, Dan. By the way, I'm on the Cameo app right now. I have a consecutive streak going of 5 straight cameos on time. How about that? This was double the money. It was someone's 33rd birthday. You know that's important to me. It's Larry Bird year, you know?
5 is not impressive at all.
What?
How many undone have you?
I have to check. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well said.
Good confidence. Good confidence
put.
there. What he said, though, where you might have lacked confidence in speaking, Stugotz, as soon as he was done, he involved the room. He wished somebody happy birthday, and he stopped the cameo, and then he looks at me and with a single sausage finger says, I'm good at those.
I'm good at wishing someone a happy birthday.
You just threw the camera in front of me.
Yeah.
You're like, here's Chris.
I mean, listen, I had a top 5 because it's his 33rd birthday. I happen to have my top 5 athletes who wore the number 33 of all time. I gave it to him. What a gift. I mean,
Can we have that?
Can we have
Put effort into that?
I did, yeah.
Does he put in any effort into any of the top 5? Like it's just the
Absolutely.
latest things he's thought
I
of.
wrote it down. I mean, number 5, Tony Dorsett. Number 4, Scottie Pippen.
We're getting reheated cameo material.
Number 3, Shaq.
It makes it less personal to the gift, the person you're giving the gift
No,
to.
they'll love this.
Number 2, Kareem. And number 1, of course, shot for your life, Larry Bird. $112, Dan.
Billy is shocked by that.
$112 you charge?
What's a 24-hour thing? That's why.
That's
It's
probably
worth
just
24 hours,
That's,
double.
that's probably just his cut.
Yeah, that's his cut.
Probably like 175, and he gets 112.
I'm crushing it.
Billy, tell me
5 in
everything.
a row.
Billy, tell me everything that's going well. You say 5
Thank
in a
you.
row with
Thank you,
enthusiasm,
Billy.
but the people who are listening and not seeing don't see that your head is in your hands because you're disgusted by what?
5 is nothing. Like 5 in a row is not good.
What's your longest streak?
I don't want to say. Well, no, I'll show Tony, but don't say it out loud because it sounds obnoxious. I don't want to say it.
He's probably done all of them. He's probably got hundreds in a row.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't want to say it, but
Billy's
it's more than 5.
Billy's responsible. Like you'd
Yeah.
have
It's
no.
all money.
I have one. That's the thing. It's like, yeah, I want my kids to
He
go to
wants-
college,
he
so
wants
I
the
want.
money.
Yes, if you're gonna offer me money, I will go above and beyond, and I'll send you what you want. Yes.
That seems reasonable when
Yes.
transactions.
You're
are,
asking me to do something, I'll do it for you. Yes.
One of the
Stugotz is waiting
Father's
till he
Day's
has a
coming up, by the
gambling
way.
loss.
If anyone wants me to wish their
At 10
father
day
happy
Tony.
Father's Day or
Yeah.
husband,
Yeah.
Much cheaper,
brother,
Billy, Chris,
whatever.
and Lucy.
Exactly,
Much cheaper,
right,
Tony.
yeah.
Yeah.
3 for the price of 1. Some say.
I'll give you like 5 minutes.
Yeah, me too. I always
I'll
go
do
5
I'll
minutes.
do a whole stand-up set.
My wife comes in and tells me, "Hey, wrap it up. Stop telling this person happy birthday. You don't know them." I go, "But they're my friend. I love
Yeah,
Carl.
yeah.
I love Mark."
My wife has kicked me out because I'm doing too many cameos in the house. I do them in the garage.
Yeah, you did 5.
I have spent a lot of time, too much time, I would say, over the years, trying to understand the mighty Gotts. And one of the things that I couldn't understand when cameo money was pouring in, he likes money so much, how is it that Stugotz wouldn't be militant about making sure that he did all of these? And I figured it out. The money's not as valuable to him if he can't scam it off of you. Like, he's got to be able to
Feels like
pull-
I'm really working for it. when I do
Exactly
that.
right. There's the
Yeah.
balance
Yeah,
between
you're
the
right.
money and the
Yeah.
work, and he wants it to be kind of like,
You know
look,
me.
where is this?
Yeah.
Here's the balance. This is the money side, and this is the work side. And he'd like the scales to be like this, where there's the maximum money and the minimum work. And with Cameo, respectfully, it was more like this, right? Where it was like
Too easy.
The money was there. And no, not too easy. It was too much for you because you had days that you had to do maybe 4 or 5, and then it's like, well, hold on a second. This is 8 minutes of work.
I was going through a tough time.
Anyone listening to this would say to you
My
that
mom
this
passed
is
away.
the easiest thing in the world to do for money. There's no easier way to make money than this.
No, that's not true. Because the thing is that they give you. Well, Stugotz somehow got an extended 7-day window. Like normal people get like a 4-day window. I don't know
Yeah.
how you managed to
I
get a
changed
7-day
my
window.
settings, man. You could do it too.
I didn't know that was a thing. So you have like a couple days window. So like if you don't do it right away, then sometimes you then start getting lost in life, and then it's like, well, oh my God, I have 37 minutes left, and I need to get this in. So if you don't do it right away, sometimes it gets away from you.
So what happened was I had the price set lower, and I had it set at 1 day. I had to deliver in 1 day.
Why would you do that?
Well, that's why I changed the settings, because I couldn't keep up with the demand. And so I extended it out to 7 days, and I raised the price. Not as much demand, more time to do them, you know?
Cameo took a bit of a fall. It had like its peak like right early on COVID where everyone was doing it, and then you kind of lost like the whole,
Yeah, the guy that used to text me about joining nonstop hasn't texted me in a couple years.
Shout out to Addison, wherever you
Something's
are.
I don't think that you guys understand how you sound. because this is not hard work. It is easy money, and leaving that easy money on the table for any reason sounds offensive to anybody out there struggling with money. Like your life can't get so busy that you don't have a minute to yammer into your phone to make $50. Like I don't think you guys realize how you sound.
I mean, you go to a dentist with a leg massage.
That's right.
Tony saw my streak. There's no money left on that table.
Billy has scooped up all the money, put it in his pocket. Good for him. Your kid's going to go to college for that.
Hopefully.
What is the most memorable cameo? Was it the Antonio Brown ones, or was it Smokey Robinson?
Hey, Marco. How you doing? Surprise, surprise. This is Smokey Robinson. I know you didn't expect to hear from me. But I was contacted by your sons, Jeff and Jared. And they told me that you used to live in Detroit across the street from me. And gosh, that's beautiful. How you doing again? Nice talking to you again, I guess. But anyway, you're living in Vancouver now. And they wanted me to wish you happy Chinooka. I have no idea what Chinooka is, but happy Chinooka because they said so. Anyway, God bless you, babe, and enjoy Chinooka. Have a wonderful time.
It's a better time.
If you can do better than that with a more memorable cameo than that, I would love to hear what you've got.
Top 5 33s? I mean.
I made friends on Cameo. Like, the same people come back year after year. I wish the same people happy Valentine's Day every year.
Return customers, because you're satisfied customers.
You know, we actually have employees here that reached out to us to get jobs via Cameo. Yeah. Like, DM'd us.
Mike Fuentes.
Fuentes, yeah. I did one for him. I did.
Then you told him you got him the job.
I did.
And saved the podcast all those years ago as well. We're going to get in a moment here to Florida Panthers coverage because we have Chris Cody doing something braver than anyone in the take industry is doing right now.
Flying to Edmonton?
In hockey. No. PK Subban is going to join us from Edmonton in moments. A lot of people have made that 2,500-mile flight. But Chris Cody is doing something in the take business that no one else has done. He has a quibble with Paul Maurice. He's only willing to escalate it to the level of quibble. He's not going to criticize this coach that Jonathan Zaslow's locally called the murderer of fun.
Yep.
Doesn't feel that way right now, but he brought a style of hockey that was less fun than the style we had, and so Chris is daring to quibble with Paul Maurice. We'll get to that in a second, but as has been happening way too much around here recently in ways that make me think about mortality, and I'd like to not be thinking so much about mortality. We have the breaking news now that Jerry West has passed away at the age of 86 years old. I don't have any personal experience with Jerry West other than interviewing him a couple of times on Highly Questionable and talking to him before it was fashionable about how deeply and darkly depressed he was and not able to enjoy his greatness as much as he would have liked because of what was a very difficult upbringing that was fueled to achieve the things that he did to make him a historic figure in sports. But I can't speak with any expertise about having watched him play or his greatness. I'm just learning that he passed at 86, and this will be met with a great deal of sadness in basketball circles where a number of different people had a number of different experiences with Jerry West, who was a consummate leader as a player and as an executive. Most recently portrayed in Winning Time by Adam McKay as a totally unreasonable temper problem that his family and him objected to, that portrayal, in a way that Jerry West said, I will take it all the way to the Supreme Court. I don't like how I've been portrayed emotionally in Winning Time, which is a fictionalized account of the Showtime Lakers. But Jerry West is earned as the logo of the sport, and he has now passed away at the age of 86.
He's one of the all-time great players. I only know stories about him playing through my dad, who swears that Jerry West is the greatest shooter that he's ever seen. We debate that all the time. I tell him it's Larry Bird. He tells me Jerry West. He says West is the logo, and kind of ends the argument. But Dan, not only a great player, but as you mentioned off the court, a great builder of teams and also a mentor to a lot of players on teams in which, he wasn't a part of. He just mentored a lot of guys throughout their career. And you're right. Today, this is going to be met with a ton of sadness because he is one of the all-time greats and had connections with a lot of the younger players who are going to be devastated by this news. So it is sad to see that Jerry West has passed away at the age of 86.
Let us segue, however awkwardly, from mortality into something that feels slightly better than that, which is the Panthers are 2 victories away from winning the Stanley Cup. PK Subban has been an excellent analyst over the last few years. He's a 3-time NHL All-Star, but it's been fun watching him grow as a voice, his confidence. Like, it's obvious, not that he ever lacked confidence, but it's just obvious seeing him in front of the cameras that he has grown comfortable, very comfortable in the position of being an authority and a voice on hockey. PK, thank you for joining us. Can you tell me if you could have imagined this during your playing career, the idea of an analyst role for you that would fit this well?
I don't think you ever try to look too far ahead. I think you try to stay in the moment when you're playing. But, one thing that was always something that I saw follow me from team to team. I played for 3 different teams, and in every single locker room, we were always very opinionated about what we heard on the television and what people would be saying. And I think that sometimes you got to put your money where your mouth is. When you're an ex-player, you have an opportunity to have an impact. Sorry about that. To be able to talk about the game and influence the game in a different way than just on the ice, and be able to educate people and bring new people into the game. I think it's an opportunity that you can't pass up, especially for the players that truly love the game. Whatever sport you're in, if you truly love it, you want to still be attached to it in some capacity. And this allows me to not only be within the game still, but as a player, give back to the players and help educate, from a player's perspective. I think that's important as well. Journalism's a difficult job, and I have a lot of respect for people that have been doing it for a long time. But to have a perspective as someone who's more recently out of the game, I think is pretty valuable. And I hope that the players value it. All the feedback has been positive so far, so I'll take it and run with it.
Well, you had personality as a player. You have personality as a broadcaster. Do you get frustrated the way that I do by hockey players in general who are very nice, very polite, and very careful to never say anything interesting to us?
Well, I think that the comfort is now there for players to come out of their shell. We see what the NHL is doing with this new show coming out. Obviously, that's going to highlight some of the star players in the game, and I know I'll be a part of that in a certain capacity. So we're all excited for that, and I think this is the new wave now for the NHL. The NHL's here. We see it. The numbers continue to grow. People continue to watch. It's exciting. I mean, we had DJ Khaled performing before the game during an intermission. It's pretty special. This stuff wasn't happening when I was playing, right? And I retired only 2 years ago. So I think we're well on our way in the NHL. And the most important thing is the product on the ice. So the players know that. You got to go out and play. But I think that we have other avenues now to show players' personality. It's difficult. These guys wear helmets on the ice, you don't always get to see them. So, as far as recognizing the players, we have to find other ways to do that. And I think that, creating different avenues to promote the players and market the game is exactly what we want to do. And I think that show is going to play a big role in people getting to know our stars, outside of just like Connor McDavid being on the Stanley Cup stage and Matthew Tkachuk. They're going to be able to get inside a little bit and know what they're like personally, which I think is really important.
PK, you mentioned the ratings, and you're right. They're up, and they're up dramatically. They're up 45% year to year. What do you attribute that to?
I think it's a number of things. The product on the ice. I got to watch a lot of hockey, and I can tell you when I was playing, I didn't always want to watch. I can't take my eyes off the screen now. I'm so excited every night to watch the game. There's so many skilled players. And, without the skill, I considered myself a skilled player when I played. Grew up, I was a Montreal Canadiens fan. Obviously hometown is Toronto, so always had a special place in my heart for the Leafs. But growing up, it was all about the Detroit Red Wings and the Colorado Avalanche and, watching the way that those teams played the game. And that was skill and a ton of skill. And now that's what the game's about. You can see it all over the ice. So it takes obviously a certain level of testicular fortitude and toughness and dedication, to play this game. But, skill in the entertainment part is really, really important. And I think our game is just highly entertaining. I think it's fun to watch. If you love sports, you love to watch hockey, especially right now. It's very, very exciting. And for me to want to sit and watch hockey games every night says a lot. I've seen a lot of hockey over my lifetime, and I'm loving it right now. So I'd have to say the product on the ice and just everything. I think that Gary Bettman has done a great job. The decisions that he's made, expansion teams, all of that stuff has come. Like, look at Vegas, right? Look at what's happened in Vegas. So the game has continued to grow. And a lot of it is on the shoulders of the players, but we have to give the league credit as well. And the media, I think that there's so many different ways now with podcasts and different shows and obviously streaming and all this stuff. There's so many different ways to now see what's going on in the world of hockey. And I think all of that helps.
A critic writes in of the show, Stugotz, my favorite thing is Dan taking off his glasses to talk about a sport he knows nothing about and thinks he's making thought-provoking statements when he says, I simply didn't think they could do that. PK, did you think that Edmonton could be slowed that way by anybody the way they were in Game 2?
You know what? I think the Florida – are you talking about the Florida Panthers specifically? I'm sorry. I missed the first part of your question.
I am
the glasses distracted
I
him,
am asking you whether in the last game that they played, I didn't understand the difference between Game 1 and Game 2, where all of a sudden Edmonton's getting all of the opportunities in Game 1, all sorts of dangerous, high-risk opportunities that Bobrovsky is stopping. And then Game 2 – I see the worst Edmonton team I've seen play. I didn't think that could happen where there were no chances for Edmonton. I didn't think anybody could do that to them.
I saw that coming. The Florida Panthers probably played the worst game of the playoffs in Game 1. They looked, in my opinion, they looked tentative. They looked nervous. One thing that no one's going to talk about is 8 out of the 20 or 21 players that skated weren't even in the finals last year. Lusterinen, who's a great young player for them, he was hurt. He didn't play last year in the finals. So they got a lot of guys that this is their first time playing in the finals. So, everybody's looking at the Florida Panthers saying, oh, they were in the finals last year. Yeah, they were, but they got a lot of players that weren't. So that, I think, showed in Game 1. There was a little bit of nerves. And it should be. They should be nervous. There's a really good hockey player on the other side. I don't know, best player in the world, the best player of our generation. Connor McDavid, he's a pretty good player. And, I'd be a little bit nervous too if I was playing against him in the finals. You're going to see his best. And Edmonton came out ready to play. I think it was a missed opportunity for Edmonton, a missed opportunity because they just ran into who I believe is the lead in the Conn Smythe Trophy conversation. And Sergei Bobrovsky was unbelievable in Game 1, and he stole Game 1. You knew that Florida was going to come out better in Game 2. I haven't seen them play 2 bad games in a row all season. I mean, they had a little stretch there, a little rough patch heading into the playoffs. But other than that, they've been solid all year and all postseason. So I expected them to bounce back. And they know they had to take care of business at home. Edmonton right now is one of the toughest buildings to play in the National Hockey League. It's going to be tough for Game 3. So they had to get it done at home, and they came out and played better. Sam Bennett was awesome. Mikkola was great. He's been great all playoff long. And Sergei Bobrovsky shut the door when he had to. Now, the question's going to be health for Florida. Are they healthy going into Game 3? But I was not surprised that Edmonton, was shut down the way that they were. This Florida Panthers team is the best defensive team in hockey, and it showed.
Are you okay with our idea to make Draisaitl sit for as long as Barkov has to sit?
Seems fair.
So I love that. I do. it's just difficult, right? Because you think about it this way. Let's just say that Draisaitl had hit a player that was on the fourth line, right? And I'm not saying this, I'm just thinking out hypothetically because we're talking as fans now. I got to take my analyst hat off for a second. Talking as fans. If Draisaitl hits, a fourth line guy like that and the elbow guy goes down, his jaw and decides to sit a game, or sit 2 games, who's not as big of an impact player, now you've got one of the best players in the series out. And, I don't know how much the NHL investigates to how hurt guys actually are. But the one thing I will say is that if a player, the number one thing I look at is the injury stuff. If a guy's injured, if you break a player's jaw, throwing an elbow, there's got to be, in my opinion, there's got to be a suspension for that. I'd be pissed if my best player broke his jaw off of their best player hitting them with an elbow and there was no supplementary discipline for it. Now, I will say this about the Draisaitl hit, and I'll even go as far to talk about the Foegele hit because I saw the replay on that as well. And I called it a knee on knee, but whether it was a knee on knee, hip on hip, quad on quad, it's reckless. I don't like it through the neutral zone. If you're going to hit somebody through the middle of the ice, it's a skill and an art to hit. If you are late, that's why we have referees to call penalties for guys that don't have the skating or the timing ability to hit in the open ice cleanly. If you catch a guy's leg, quad, or knee, it's a penalty. And if the guy's hurt and it looks reckless and it's dangerous, which that was, there could be extra supplementary discipline to it. So, I didn't like that hit. With Leon knew who he was hitting. There's no question about that. Now, did he deliberately try to elbow him in the chin? I will say no. That's when Trouba sticks his elbow out at Rodriguez, that to me is way more egregious than the hit that Leon Draisaitl put on Barkov. Now, guys, I was just as emotional as every person in the state of Florida when that hit happened and I saw the elbow to the chin because this is the best player. This is the best player right now in the playoffs who could potentially be injured, right? Who could be potentially injured and out for the series, out for a game, whatever it is. And that's as clear as day. That's an elbow. Now, is the intent. The intent is for Leon Draisaitl to make a big hit on Barkov. And look, his feet are down. I actually said he left his feet. He didn't leave his feet as early as I thought he did. I'm emotional. I have to admit to that. I do get emotional. I'm sorry. I do. I'm a player, so I always put myself on the ice, and I have to try to temper that emotion sometimes and look at it with a different hat on. And once I watched it over and over again, I was a little bit more lenient to it. Now, everybody's going to say, wow, PK, you're only saying that because he's a star player. Well, you're damn right. There are star players. We want them on the ice. There isn't different rules for different guys, but I've seen way worse hits than that. The most important thing that I want to see is Barkov on the ice for Game 3. If he's healthy and on the ice for Game 3, I'm not going to care. So to your point, should they both sit? I mean, if Barkov's sitting, I don't mind Leon Draisaitl sitting a game. I don't mind that at all. But, if it doesn't happen, it's not the end of the world. And I'm thinking that Barkov's going to play. I hope he plays. It'd be another conversation if he's missing a game. That's for sure. That's a huge loss. Huge loss if he has to miss a game.
Now, he is on the ice this morning for practice, so that is a good sign.
Full participant.
Good.
Now, I am wondering – go ahead.
Yeah, and that's the most important thing. For fans and everybody, we want the stars on the ice, but we want these guys playing hard. And I also don't want to take away Leon Draisaitl's right to go out there and make a big hit and play hard like that. So, I have to temper my emotions, but there was no question that was an elbow. That was an elbow.
Could Paul Maurice, and this was my quibble that we talked earlier. I don't want to criticize Paul Maurice. I love Paul Ball. No one was supporting that guy before I was down here.
Mm-hmm. You
but
were first.
I can't criticize. I'm afraid to criticize him, so I'm just putting a lot of caveats at the front of it.
Yeah.
But he could have been a little more aggressive in that press conference, calling for a suspension of Draisaitl. No.
Paul Maurice handles the media perfectly. I liked exactly what he said. He's so smart, and no, he's right to do that because. what I love about Paul Maurice is he not only loves his players, I really believe he loves the other team players as well. And he looks at all the players the same. He's been around so long.
That's not true. That's
I
not
don't
true.
like
That's
that.
not
I don't
true.
want him
That's
like
not
that.
true.
I don't like that.
That's not
No,
true.
I want my coach to hate the other players.
You can't like the other
Hate
players.
that.
You can't. Come on.
Guys,
Come on.
likes the
Get
other
out of
player.
here. Get out.
Wish
Come on.
diarrhea on them. Yeah.
Guys, I don't think Paul Maurice is going out there wanting to see players suspended and missing an opportunity, of a lifetime to play in the Stanley Cup final unless it's truly deserving. And he's not going to lobby for that unless it's 150% deserving.
If I go up to, you're telling me if I go up to Maurice tonight and just say, hey, Genie, McDavid suspended. He's just suspended. That he's going to say, no, thank you. I don't want him suspended.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Of course. Listen, of course, it's winning. But he's not going to lobby for a player to get suspended. He's going to let the NHL do their job. And I thought the way he handled it was great because he put a spotlight on it without having to be front and center. He let everybody else do the math on what they saw. He saw the clip. All you got to do is watch the video clip to see the elbow, right? To see it's right to the chin of the game's best player right now, and that's Barkov. He's been the best player in the playoffs right now, right? Who's going to argue that? On both sides of the puck. He's Florida's most valuable player outside of Bobrovsky, and he took an elbow straight from Leon Draisaitl to the chin. So, at the end of the day, this is playoff hockey. We've seen stuff happen. The most important thing is that Barkov is not hurt. So I'm happy to hear that he was on the ice. I figured that he would make it back. And Luostarinen, too. I was more scared about that hit, to be honest, than the Barkov hit. The Luostarinen one really had me going in the game, and I'm happy that he came back shortly after.
We're out of time, unfortunately. Thank you for joining us after the 2,500-mile flight. I do have one follow-up, though. You mentioned a couple of times how emotional you are and were as a player. What do you regard as the most unreasonably emotional you ever were as a player? Is there one thing that stands out to you as like, I really need to get my emotions in check? That was too far.
Yes, definitely. It was actually towards the end of my career when I was playing in New Jersey. I think it might have been in my second or maybe even my last year playing. And a bunch of my close friends and people in my inner circle gave me a bunch of crap for it. I don't know if I could swear. I would have said something else. But we were playing the Islanders, and it was in overtime. And I had scored in overtime, big celebration. And it was a big turning point for a team. We're trying to get the ball rolling. And it was called back on like an offside. And I sort of sounded off on social media after. I chirped the league. I said this league, because I thought back to the NHL finals when the offside was called in the Stanley Cup final. And I was just being a big baby. Really, I was just being a big baby. And I was just upset. I wanted to win the game. I wanted our team to have that game. And I went on social media and I said something about the league. And, I that was the only time I ever regretted opening my mouth. That's when the emotions had boiled over for me, and deservingly so. I think everybody understands New Jersey. Those were tough 3 years playing on a team that's at the bottom of the league. I'm used to being in the playoffs every year and going on long playoff runs. So that would have been the time where I lost it. And I was upset about it because I think there's a responsibility that comes when you're a player that's recognized in a professional sports league to understand that it's our job to shine the shield. The shield gives us a lot. So I try to keep my emotions in check, but it's an emotional game. So I wouldn't be me without the emotional part. It's just about finding balance. So I remember that, though. I said some stuff on Twitter maybe or Instagram and wasn't the right way to handle it. So.
Yes or no answer will get you out of here. Do you agree with Greg Cody when he says Connor McDavid needs to win a Stanley Cup to validate his greatness?
I feel differently about that. I think that when people think, I know you want a yes or no answer, but it's not a yes or no answer.
You can't do it. You can't do it. No.
Yes or no.
Look,
I stated on the front end.
I don't want to enrage the big baby, but he did say yes or no.
So
he did say yes or no.
I'm gonna say no because what he does, to me is so special. He is the greatest engineered player to ever play the game. Eras are different. There's no question. There'll never be a Wayne Gretzky, another Wayne Gretzky. Wayne Gretzky is the great one. He is the greatest of all time.
Well said.
But for this generation, Connor McDavid is that guy. And the only reason why we say winning is because players have to have something to play for. This is not a sport where the culture accepts you coming in, taking your paycheck and walking out the door. Winning has to matter. And people can tell when you play the game and want to win and when you don't care about winning. You know the way hockey is, man. There's no prima donnas in this sport. So winning has to matter. But, if I'm talking about the sport itself, there's nobody even close to this guy. We've never seen anybody like this guy. He's worth the price of admission to go and play. I've watched him his whole career, played with my brother growing up. Connor McDavid is the real deal. Anybody who says any different has never played against him. And no offense to Greg Cote, never played against Connor McDavid. And and that's not taking anything away from him. But trust me, if he would play against him, he'd have a completely different opinion.
You're right. You're
He
right.
would.
No, you're absolutely right.
Thank you for
Bishop to Rook 9 there. You got us.
Yeah.
Thank you for what?
Thank you for creating the visual of my dad playing hockey against
Yes.
Connor McDavid.
Thank you, PK.
He thinks he can, though.
We appreciate it, PK. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
I keep telling people here that I just imagine that in Canada there's just general rage for the idea that the Florida Panthers are this close to winning the Stanley Cup. And we have been searching for days and weeks now all over South Florida, live when we're on, for Tony. Tony failed. He's been demoted. To find a Panther fan who can just talk on the street so we could do some man-on-the-street stuff. We joined Jeremy again now. I've been told we've got to rush out to Jeremy because he's getting kicked out of somewhere else. Jeremy, where are you near the arena, near the Stanley Cup fever?
Yeah, I mean, the Stanley Cup fever, you can feel it here, Dan. There is an airboat with Florida Panthers insignias on it. Unfortunately, we are not allowed to see it. We have been kicked out of Everglades National Park. We've kind of just been wandering, trying to find a spot where this makes sense. There are people. I don't think any of them know anything about the Florida Panthers outside of the Panthers here in the Everglades. They were talking a lot about the Gators. I don't really know why.
I've been told that there were
know,
tornadoes. I've been told that there are tornadoes near you, and you have to
Yeah,
hurry
I
up
was
and
told
get
there
out.
were tornadoes, Dan. I do a lot for this show without insurance. So, there are tornadoes. There's a rainstorm. We got rained on earlier. We might get kicked out. There might be cops called.
Are you guys moving?
Dedication to the show, dedicated to the Florida Panthers.
Are you backpedaling right now because security is following you out of there?
Maybe, maybe not. Maybe, maybe not. We might be speaking quietly because we don't want people to notice what it is that we're doing.
In Tony's
So just kinda
defense,
walking,
he at least
hanging
spoke
out.
to people.
Right. I mean, speak to
Hey,
anybody.
there are people here. I tried to speak to people. It's not my fault that there's so much red tape in Broward County. There
How
is
do you
a
get
picture.
kicked out of the
I sent
Everglades?
it in the
People
video
dump
dump.
dead bodies there and get away with it. Like, how are you not allowed to talk to
that's
people?
true. Where are the people, Billy? Where are the people?
Dead.
There are no
It's your
people
job,
here.
not mine.
They're all dead. Those people are dead people.
Talk to them.
Hold on a second. I did find, guys, no, this is very exciting because remember earlier when I pointed out a bird, you guys corrected me and said, hey, that's not a flamingo. Well, guess what? We found flamingos. Look at that.
okay.
Flamingos right here.
It's a peacock.
It's pretty amazing. How exciting is it? It's pretty amazing.
Go talk to the peacock.
Flamingos
yeah.
right here.
Flirting with you.
Isn't it great? Yeah. Well, no, the flamingo, it's beautiful, right?
Not a flamingo.
Talk to the cock.
I don't think there's people
Excuse me,
there, Jeremy,
Flamingo?
because of the National
Flamingo,
Weather
how do you
Service
feel about the
advisory.
forecheck of Gustav Forsling? Excuse me, Flamingo. How do you feel about Gustav Forsling's forecheck?
All right, thank you, Jeremy.
That is a peacock.
Call him Peacock and see if he responds.
Lucy, do you
Here's-
have
here's
anything
what
for
we're gonna
Jeremy before we get rid of him?
Jeremy, if the tornado looks like it's not moving, that means it's coming at you. And then you have to go inside and take shelter, preferably in a basement.
Stairwell
welcome.
also is good. Stairwell, maybe a tub.
We don't really do
bathtub.
basements in the
Get in a
Everglades.
bathtub. Get in a bathtub and then put pillows
There are
over
people
your
here.
head.
They're kicking us out. They're
Okay.
kicking us out, guys. They're kicking us out for real. There's people on the phone. We're gonna go to Hollywood Beach.
people on
and
the
we're gonna
phone.
find people at Hollywood Beach.
All right, there you go.
Just go.
He's
if you
running
turn the
from
camera to the
security.
right.
Okay, get out of
Okay,
there,
get out,
Jeremy.
get out.
Get
Don't
away
worry.
from
We're gonna go.
Yeah.
We're gonna go. We're
Okay.
out of here. We're out of here, and we're gonna go ahead and go to Hollywood Beach and find the Canadians. Okay,
All
we're gonna
right,
find the
see you
Canadians.
later.
Further away.
There's
I
people
told
there.
you.
Talk to
Yeah.
those people. Look, right there.
Yeah,
I can't talk to these people. They're kicking us out.
Just scream.
Someone's on the phone.
Talk to
Billy.
someone in the parking lot. Come on,
Gen Z's
Jeremy. Get us
How
one
do you feel
person.
about the Florida Panthers? Florida Panthers?
Go over there, Jeremy.
Oh,
Go.
that guy said Oilers in 6. He said Oilers in 6.
Wow. At least he knows who they're playing, though.
I don't love that. I don't love that. They know hockey. Let's get out of
All
here.
right, get out of there.
All right.
Thank you. Hollywood Beach, though. Tony, this is where he's going to win because I
Dan,
don't-
you think he's gonna win?
he's going to
Please,
find
Dan.
Panther fans.
If he goes to Hollywood Beach, Tony, he's gonna win.
Tony,
Yeah,
this is
I'm telling you.
This is per square foot in South Florida. If you want to find Canadians wearing socks and sandals on a boardwalk, the place that you have to go is the boardwalk on Hollywood Beach, and it's been that place since 1975.
I wanted to ask Billy something. Billy, I saw there was breaking news yesterday regarding Joey Chestnut that we haven't gotten to yet.
Oh.
Have you been able to get to the bottom of this? I read something about him being banned, but then maybe he's not banned, and then there's vegan hot dogs involved, and I'm very confused.
There's a lot going on with Joseph Chestnut right now. So he's won, I think, 16 mustard belts, but this year was announced yesterday he will not be competing in the 4th of July Nathan's world famous hot dog eating contest, whatever it's called. And apparently what happened was he signed with a competitor, a vegan hot dog company. And he signed, I believe, a $1.3 million, $1.2 million 4-year deal with a vegan hot dog company. Now, apparently he was paid $200,000 every year by Nathan's to compete in the famous hot dog eating contest. So over a span of 4 years, I guess it's a better deal for him. But now what you have to wonder is, what is he going to lose by not being part of this hot dog eating contest every year? Because are you still going to follow him while he's eating vegan hot dogs? Which, by the way, this whole thing seems un-American, if I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. Joey Chestnut not being in the hot dog eating contest on the 4th of July, un-American. Yep. Vegan hot dogs, un-American.
That contest, hugely American. Gluttony, hugely American.
Well, yes.
Hot dogs, hugely American.
And I would argue I don't think it's crazy to say it's the only reason anyone knows who Joey Chestnut is. So is like $1.3 million over the next 4 years, because there's no competitor that's been close to him the last couple of years, right? So obviously he's going to slow down at some point in time, but like we're now entering Kobayashi territory where like he's banned from the eating contest. And is he going I don't think he's going to do what Kobayashi did, where Kobayashi would kind of go and cause spectacles and get arrested at the hot dog eating contest.
Kobayashi should come out of retirement. I mean,
well, he just retired.
I know, but I mean,
yeah, so did Tom
there's
Brady.
An opening.
There is an opening here. That's actually a great idea.
Yeah.
There's nothing more American than Kobayashi coming out of retirement and winning the famous hot dog eating contest on the 4th of July because Joey Chestnut is no longer there. Horrible move. I don't know who it is that gave him this advice to sign $1 million deal. Horrible move.
Well, you asked what he's going to lose. Wait.
No, he's going to continue eating, but he's going to eat
a competitive
vegan
eater.
hot dogs.
Yeah. He still does like tournaments all over the country. Like he was here in Miami a couple years ago doing a croqueta eating contest. He had like 187
Yeah,
croquetas.
but he's not going to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to
Of
go
course.
do that at
But it's part of the
Croqueta-Palooza.
circuit, though.
This is a terrible job. by
Terrible
Nathan's.
job.
Seriously.
No,
He's
wait, who?
He's the star of the sport. People aren't out there because of Nathan's. They're out there because of Joey Chestnut.
That is not true.
Can he win his 17th straight? No, I guarantee you, Billy.
People are not going to go this year?
No, have Joey Chestnut just go eat hot dogs somewhere down the boardwalk, like a quarter mile down. There will be more people in front of that just watching him eat than there will be at the Nathan's hot dog eating contest.
You know what they should
it's a
do?
fraudulent champion, whoever wins it.
You should get Caitlin Clark to do the hot dog eating contest to grow the game. My favorite thing about Joey Chestnut's statement, by the way, was that he said he was gutted to learn.
Something
He
smells.
did
Something smells fishy.
Something's
around
up here. There's
Something
something.
smells hot
Something's
doggy.
up. Listen, here's
It's
the
a
thing.
publicity stunt, you think?
I think this has Snoop Dogg quitting smoking written all over it.
Oh, put it on the poll, please, Juju. Does Joey Chestnut being banned have Snoop Dogg quitting smoking written all over it?
It would be great if all of a sudden Jerry Chestnut shows up at the 4th of July, right? And it's just like a masked man, and all of a sudden, whoa, 65 hot dogs, Jerry Chestnut. Where did he come from? It's hard to, by the way, find a product more disgusting than hot dogs, but vegan hot dogs is it.
Yeah.
Joey Hazelnut.
Lucy, do you have any familiarity with Bobby Valentine's move like the one that Billy is suggesting? The former Mets manager got ejected from a baseball game and then returned to the dugout wearing a fake mustache after being ejected and was pretending to be somebody else. So you're not familiar with this story?
Did it work?
Yeah, well, no. They saw him doing that.
Worked for like a second.
It worked.
There it is. It's up on the screen
It worked
now.
for a couple of innings. He did not have that mustache. He was in disguise. You're suggesting that banned Joey Chestnut
Shows up as Jerry Chestnut. Yeah.
Maybe change the last name or
He probably would need to do that.
Joey Allman, something like that.
Are you guys as confused as I am by the fact that when Chris Cody makes the joke that Joey Chestnut will lose weight, that both he and Kobayashi can eat this way without ever gaining weight, that the two of them have an ability to eat in a way that is obviously unhealthy, and yet both of them are incredibly fit and have no issues with it?
I don't know about that.
Well, no,
Kobayashi was incredibly fit. I like an 8-pack.
Wait, but Billy, we've had him on Stupidity, Joey Chestnut, and he says he doesn't bite into the hot dogs. He just swallows them whole with water, and then he throws them up later. I mean,
Do you think their gastroenterologists hate them or love them?
You think they have like trainers that way? That a team
their
of
insides are
scientists?
effed. Yes, their insides are not in good condition.
I think I'd like to try a vegan hot dog.
No, you won't.
No.
Take it for a walk.
If we don't know what's in hot dogs, we don't know what's in vegan hot
I
dogs.
feel like we probably know what's in the vegan ones.
Right, more.
than the.
Probably says it on
We
the
know
box.
what's in the meat ones too. You just don't want to know.
Jim Rome once said that
bundles.
hot dogs were worse for you than cigarettes.
What? I don't know, actually. What is in hot dogs? Like what?
All the other discarded meats that you don't want from meats that you
It's not
actually
important.
eat.
Let's be honest. It's not important what's inside of a hot dog, all right?
Tony has a theory that you eat a burger at a steakhouse because they have the best, like, their ground meat is like the leftover. Is that like our hot dogs at steakhouses, like the best of the best?
It's the worst of the worst.
No? Not the same rules?
Is Jim Rome a doctor?
I don't know. He just said it. I mean,
You quoting Jim Rome.
It has
because
stuck with
you
me forever.
What else does he have to say about health?
Nothing about health. He also said the Super Bowl doesn't start until Jim Rome gets there. He said it. Those were his words. I mean, anyway, I have top 5 athletes that can own hot dogs.
Well, you are one of them, John Wiener.
I'm not an athlete, though.
Number 5.
Corn Elder.
Corn Elder.
Corn Dog.
Number 4.
Joe Nathan.
Number 3.
Joe Rose. The Big Dog.
Number 2.
Jim Bunning.
Number 1.
Bubba Franks.
That's a good one.
I did it all just for that.
No
Yeah.
Urban Meyer, huh?
Damn!
It is hard to do better than Bubba Franks.
No Kyle hot dog, huh?
Oh.
Oh, a lie.
Can you guys get for me, please, the Diana Rossini tweet about Aaron Rodgers? Because I'd like to understand what it is that's going on most recently about Aaron Rodgers as inexplicably, or is it explainable? He is missing training camp, and it is not an excused absence. What do I have right or wrong here?
Well, her tweet said Aaron Rodgers is skipping all of Jets' mandatory minicamp this week because he prefers to be somewhere else away from football. That's his choice.
I mean, he did go to all the voluntary stuff. Like, he's been at everything. He's done everything that they've asked him to do. He had a conversation with Saleh. He said, this is my excuse. And Saleh said, I don't accept it. So I don't know if it's Saleh trying to regain some sort of power within that locker room by making it public yesterday. He's going to have to fine Aaron Rodgers, I think, $16,000 for missing the first day of training camp, but of the mini camp. I don't care, Dan. Like, as long as Aaron shows up to the first game, I'm good with it. He is 39, 40 years old. He has won, 3 or 4 MVPs. He's won a Super Bowl. He is the least of their problems, okay? He doesn't need to show up to that. He just needs to show up to the first game and play more than 4 snaps. I mean, and I'm good.
He's the least of their problems?
I mean, Dan, we're Jet fans. We've never had a quarterback who has a name like Aaron Rodgers, who's as good as Aaron Rodgers. Never in it can't get any worse, okay? So I'm praying for the best. Show up, stay healthy, and I guarantee you this Jet team will be a playoff team. That's all I want from Aaron Rodgers. I don't want anything else. I don't want opinions. I don't care about, mandatory mini camps. I don't even care about training camp. Just be healthy, be right, be ready for the first snap in San Francisco.
I need to do some of the Stugotz translation here because you do have to understand that this team has been a misery for him for 40 years and has never had a great quarterback.
No.
And the idea that Stugotz would go against his every principle on his team because of his desperation and say the quarterback can miss mandatory minicamp when the quarterback, the leader, never misses mandatory minicamp unless it's a contract holdout. That Rossini quote is shocking to me, that it's just like would prefer to be elsewhere, not at mandatory football things. It's not something I've ever seen a quarterback do who's not holding out for money.
I understand that. He thinks that his reason is acceptable. Robert Saleh is saying, I don't think it's acceptable, and therefore I'm going to fine him.
But you're saying it's the least of our problems that the team leader who did not play last year, who has a bunch of conspiratorial theories that have made his reputation be in tatters because people think that other things are more important to him than football, is skipping mandatory football camp for no good reason that the coach is not allowing, and he's saying, bleep it, fine me. I've never seen a fan of a team be okay with that behavior from a quarterback because I've never seen it from a quarterback.
That's how desperate this fan base is. I guarantee you I'm not alone. Like, if people are saying they're upset, I'm thankful we have Aaron Rodgers. I know that sounds crazy and ridiculous, but that's how bad it's been for me over the last 4 decades as a Jet fan. I'll take whatever the upside is if he can stay healthy. I don't care about anything else.
Well, you're saying you want him to be healthy and be ready, but I think the argument is that this is something that helps you be ready for the season. That's why they do camps like this.
I mean, 4 months from now.
He also this calendar year in January said, quote, anything in this building that we're doing individually or collectively that has nothing to do with real winning needs to be assessed. Flush the bullshit. Wow. And then he disappears for mandatory training camp.
Would this work for me? Like if I got Diana Rossini to tweet out, Chris won't be on the show today because he prefers to be somewhere else. Like, are you like this is ridiculous.
Well, I feel like you did do that in one of your first days in the role of executive producer. You flew to New York to go do something instead of being here.
There you go.
I took time off, yeah.
And you're still here.
I should have had Diana tweet it. That would have made it better.
Right. I mean, there are different rules for different folks, man. I don't know what to tell you. Like, and by the way, he got fined for it. It's not like the Jets aren't saying anything. Salah embarrassed him yesterday, and he's trying to regain control of the locker room. He's never going to get it.
Yeah, and Aaron's probably really thinking about what he did now.
He doesn't
He's really
care.
regretting-
He doesn't
Exactly.
care.
That's
Right.
why the fine doesn't matter.
Right.
We have not seen.
Well, him missing doesn't matter. That's what I'm saying. It's not going to impact how he plays when September comes around 4 months from now.
What month do you think it is? I'm still trying to figure that out. You think it's like April right now?
I added a month. I needed it. You know.
Wait, August is like preseason. That's like 6 weeks. Oh my God, that's in like 6 weeks.
Football starts.
Oh my God.
Is anyone listening to this just confounded and confused by all things Aaron Rodgers not having a precedent in the history of the position? Like just all of the behavior, everything that's happening, it's just not something, Stugotz, in that sport, at that position, where the team leader is always trying to avoid distractions. He's always trying to be maximum teammate guy. Everything you hear about Tom Brady from everyone who's ever played with him is, man, what a grace that person has as a leader, making me feel like we were all in it together. When you watch everything that's happening with Aaron Rodgers, I'm speaking to the audience here, aren't you just confounded by the behavior?
Not anymore.
Mandatory training camp is not something that I've seen a quarterback sit out just because he feels like it.
It's not something a Manning would do.
It's not something any quarterback does.